Welcome to Giants Nation. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, the Football Grump, and we got a little bit of a preview pod for the Patriots. I want to talk about Charlie Bullen and a little get-to-know-you session. Grump, happy Thanksgiving. We're doing this at 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful to be alive, because I do not feel good. I woke up with a cold, like 2 days ago, and I was like, "Oh, it'll pass quickly, whatever." No, I've been progressively worse each day, but, grateful
I
for a
really
whole
hope you're
day of
not
football.
dying. I really hope you're not dying because got a kind of like a big mail, to Joe Shane press conferences next week, so I need you.
Yeah.
At
I'll
least
power through it, if I have to do it from a hospital bed.
Yeah, hold on for another week. People forget that I did when I got real sick in 2021. One of my favorite episodes ever was the Dolphins recap, where I'm like laying on my couch sideways, and I have like the microphone propped up, and just did a whole episode like that.
I think is that the time that you guys reached out to me to do it because you were sick, and I was like, "Yo, I'm
Yeah.
really sorry, I'm, like, not even home."
Well, no, that was the you ended up filling in for like a few episodes after that because I was just like, I can't do this. Like I'm what am I doing? What am I doing a mailbag at 2 and 11 or 2 and 12? Just shut it down. All right. The Giants have shut down. You take a week off. I just watched a bunch of cops all week. Um, anyways, usually we don't get so derailed at the beginning, but your damn sickness is ruining this show. Let's talk about we want to talk about Charlie Bullen and what everything he brings. First, this episode was brought to you by some special people. We got Alex Gambino from the Gambino crime family. I actually hope that's true, Alex. Joseph Davis, I think he's a football coach. Matt Camp, he likes training. He likes our training camp coverage. Uh, Tom Suckett Jake. It's spelled not the traditional way of Suckett, so I don't know who Jake is, but Suckett Jake. Jamil Manigault. Jamil Douglas does a terrible podcast with John Feliciano. Remember he was on the Giants. Dan Callahan of Big Tom Callahan's Breaks. Danny Moffler. He does the mufflers at Tom Callahan. Mike Sampogna. He's you know, Sam Ponder, and then just Henry Grump. Who are these special people?
These special people went to patreon.com/Giants Nation and signed up for one of two tiers that are available so that they could receive stickers in the mail from you, Bobby Skinner. They also get entered into a monthly free t-shirt raffle, and they get access to hang out during live recordings such as this one, and also get access to weekly game tape breakdowns that Bobby Skinner does as well. You'll be glad you did.
Be glad you did. I mean, who doesn't want to start their Thanksgiving with Giants Nation show? Um, so like I said, this is the time of year where especially this week because it's Thanksgiving. Um, want to talk about like the Giants, what's going on, and I think it's a good like get to know Charlie Bullen, who has been named the defensive coordinator. Right, that's obviously when they fired Shane Bowen. Bullen being named the defensive coordinator is just not the emphasis of that episode, but I figured this is a good opportunity to talk about him. First thing, you know that he's 3 years older than Shane Bowen? He looks
I didn't
15 years younger. The Shane Bowen being 58 is the funniest thing. It's like, I still don't know if I believe it. Like, he may have falsified his birth certificate.
I look like garbage right now because of where I am with the lighting, and also I'm sick as hell, but I'm 38 and I look way better than Shane Bowen. So,
Bowen looked 58. It was unbelievable.
yeah.
Uh, but Bullen is 41 years old. He's been coaching the NFL since 2012 outside of one season in 2023. Just a quick rundown through his resume. Was with the Dolphins from 2012 to 2018 as just a general defensive assistant, the assistant D-line coach for 3 years, and then the assistant linebacker coach is 3 years. One of those years, in 2016, Vance Joseph was the defensive coordinator there before he became the Broncos head coach. When Vance Joseph was fired as the Broncos head coach and became the Cardinals defensive coordinator, he brought over Charlie Bullen. In 2019, still an assistant, but an assistant linebacker coach. In 2020, they basically created the outside linebacker coach position for that team. It was kind of wild they didn't have one before that. But was that outside linebacker coach for 3 years with Vance Joseph. Spent 1 year with Brett Bielema at the University of Illinois before the Giants brought him over in 2024. Um, The Giants cited him being in Miami with Joe Shane. Josina Anderson said a league source said Charlie and Joe Shane are friends. Um, I think there's a lot being made out of that. Again, it's speculation. Kafka was asked about consulting with Joe Shane on that decision to make Charlie Bullen the defensive coordinator, and he said, "Yeah, obvious, yes," which I think you should consult with Joe Shane on that for the like at least talk with him about it. I was actually surprised. He mentioned like playtime, scheme, thoughts, trick plays. That's where I was like, oh wow, Shane or Joe Shane is a little more involved. Um, but what do you expect from Charlie Bullen, right? We're gonna kind of look at some of the Vance Joseph defense and stuff, and he's never been a defensive coordinator, so we don't have a ton to go off of, right? Shane Bowen's very different than Vance Joseph. Um, but what are you expecting some different changes from Vance Joseph, Grump?
Um, I'm not really totally sure. I can make this would be like totally speculation based on conclusions that I'm drawing from where he's been around the league, and just some little snippets of press conferences, right? So could be way off base here, but people cite him as being aggressive. Vance Joseph runs a fairly blitz heavy scheme, runs a lot of man coverage, a lot of cover one. Um, so I'm wondering if we're going to see some exotic looks. Obviously, as we get into the Patriots preview, there's some weakness to exploit with Will Campbell going on IR. So I don't know if that's going to factor into more or less blitz than we'll see for the rest of the season going forward, right? So if you're winning, against a subpar left tackle who's got to jump in there in Will Campbell's spot with only four guys, then maybe you don't want to blitz as much as you normally would, right? So this first game may not be the best indicator of how aggressive, how blitz heavy, Bullen wants to be. We'll have to see with that. But aggression is something that's said a lot. I don't think the thing that I thought was the most interesting, or at least the most encouraging, was that Dan Duggan had tweeted about the emphasis on tackling and shedding blocks in practice, um, getting down to fundamentals. I also think that some of that is usually like a thing that happens when there's an interim coach, right? Like usually there are breakdowns at a fundamental level that cause teams to be so bad to fire a coach mid-season.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make too much of that in terms of his identity, but at least there is a priority being placed on you know, something I would say that affects the run defense that's, outside of just personnel and scheme. Like there's just individual, um, I don't know, technique things that
That's
maybe
what
he's
they need,
working on.
honestly. Like, again,
Yeah.
I'm not so the reporters talked about, and I'll even read the Dan Duggan tweet from Wednesday practice. Clear emphasis on tackling and shedding blocks for defensive players during individual drills. Rather than the position groups splitting up and doing drills specific to their position, they rotated through a variety of stations that emphasize different tackling fundamentals. It's kind of like the beginning of like day one of high school training camp. You don't even really see that in NFL training camp where it's like, you're going from station to station, or like some type of like summer football camp that you go to. Um, which that's
I had like a tweet drafted about how the Giants have become the little Giants, and like I couldn't quite formulate it into a joke, and I just gave up on it
yeah,
somewhere.
that's like what I went and I watched the film, bro, and I did the film review of Shane Bowen's last stand, and that final drive. While there is some cushion on some of those zone coverages, Shane Bowen called a variety of defenses in there, right? A variety. And when he got aggressive, like it's this is why I think you get aggressive, is because like the 5 yard loss on that press man coverage play where they chucked it down to Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown had a touchdown, right? So if Jared Goff's first read was Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown cooked Drew Phillips at the release and had no help over the top, it would have been a touchdown if that was Jared Goff's first release. There was another play they got aggressive where they're in man coverage. Jahmyr Gibbs gets an angle route and gets an easy, 15 yards or what it is. They rotated, they rotated their zones, disguise stuff, and Goff took the checkdowns on those plays because you're going to have some type of, when you're disguising a zone coverage, there's going to be some type of cushion to it. You can't press up when you're disguising a corner who's going to bail into the deep half. That's just not possible. So I don't know if there's like, oh, this is where he can do all these things that we complained that Shane Bowen didn't do, because I do think Bowen started to do some of those things for about a month and a half. Where they really lost was the run defense in that game on Sunday, and it wasn't necessarily schematics, it was just guys losing, right? Not nobody could get off a block, right? Like, somebody get off a block. Darius Alexander, how about don't play the correct gap, follow where the run play is going, and you're, like, a huge reason that Jahmyr Gibbs is untouched and our safeties can't hang with him. Is the reason they can't is because he's running free because you screwed up the gap responsibility. So he's just running at full speed, one of the fastest running backs in the NFL, if not the fastest running back in the NFL. Um, and that's because of you. So, and because the linebackers aren't shedding blocks, they're just kind of getting into their gap and getting taken care of. So I don't know if that necessarily gets fixed with that one practice of going from station to station, but like it isn't, it should at least help. Um, and here's where I think I will expect it to be more aggressive, more blitz heavy, more DB blitzes and stuff like that. Now that does leave you vulnerable um on the back end at times because you're relying on guys to hold responsibilities, kind of read, like this is where I think they can't go full Vance Joseph, as Vance Joseph runs a lot of hybrid defenses where it's basically like creating a cone around a player, right? Either creating a triangle or creating a box around two players. And if he goes 5 yards and up, you take him. If he goes 5 yards and out, you take him. That leaves you vulnerable. That's a lot to do. If the Giants did that a little bit, but they don't do that a ton. And I think Shane Bowen just never trusted his guys to do that. Probably didn't see it and didn't do it well in practice. But where I think you can do it is just run like some fire zones, which means dropping a defensive lineman, sending two linebackers, sending a corner. Because I went and looked at it, like Vance Joseph this year on average, he blitzes a DB 5 times and a linebacker 11 times. Under Shane Bowen, it's 3 times per game of DB blitzes, 5 times a linebacker, right? So less than half with the linebacker blitzes, um, and 3 times with the DB. Carter playing a little stack linebacker from the early beginning of the season changes that. But at the same time, when Abdul Carter was lining up an inside linebacker, the offense was expecting him to blitz. So even then, it doesn't really matter. So, the Broncos blitz at the 8th, 6th, and 5th highest rate over Vance Joseph. So it's not as intense as Winker Flores, but they do similar things when he does blitz. It's just not as often. So I think that's where you're going to see a difference in this game is they're going to send that. And if we're talking specifically to this game, Grump, I know we're not going into a full game of the Patriots. I think the Patriots are severely weakened when they don't have Will Campbell out there. Not to say Will Campbell is like the best, rookie left tackle ever, but that means they're going to Verdarian Lowe, who may be the worst left tackle in the NFL. And that's just for a guy like May who likes, to stand tall in the pocket and hang in the pocket and throw the ball downfield. You can change the game because that player being at left tackle compared to Will Campbell. Right, as much as, like, Patriots fans probably got mad at Brian Burns when he said, like, he might be a little too poised. I think Brian Burns makes a good point that, like, he may be a little too poised, but we're able to get some strip sacks because he is just, dialed in on what is going to he's being too patient, and allowing that play to happen, and I think Drake May has a very good feel for the rush and when to run, and he has over 300 rushing yards this year, and the Patriots aren't zone reading him a ton. So I do think if there's a game to get aggressive, it is this Patriots game because they're missing Will Campbell. Their left guard is out too, Jared Wilson. Uh, and it's not like their receiver room is putting any fear into anybody either. They're led by Stephon Diggs, who's, just not what he once was, although still a very good player.
Yeah, and on top of that, the Patriots don't really have a tight end that is like, a Chris Manhertz that's gonna truly help on the left side, with, like, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper.
Yeah, I mean, Henry's
Um,
their second best receiver, right? So, like, they don't want to have him staying into block a ton.
yeah, so I don't really know. I mean, I assume that Drake May is just gonna be on high alert to get around things, a lot of quick games, stuff like that. Um, so and then also, like, the Giants' Achilles heel has been like finishing sacks this whole year. I mean, they've been getting pressures, they've been getting quarterback hits, but like in there's plenty of evidence of Abdul Carter, Brian Burns just not finishing sacks. Brian Burns is, 13 sack total, notwithstanding. Kayvon as well, Dex as well. So, um, it's not gonna be just, like, easy pickings, but they are severely weakened. I mean, you can insert your favorite Joe Shane year 4 joke here in terms of depth, but the Patriots and Giants are in similar position in terms of surface level talent and then the depth behind it. So, both on the offense and the defense for the Patriots, a single injury can be catastrophic. Getting an injury to their premier left tackle is what the Giants fans have been dealing with Andrew Thomas for, this entire time that they've had him. Essentially, is as soon as Andrew Thomas goes down, everything is a disaster. This year being the first year that it wasn't a complete firestorm when Andrew Thomas went down. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I really
that's
think
sort
it'll
of the
make a difference.
situation that they're in.
I really think Will Campbell will make a difference in points per game for the Patriots. Not to say that they'll, they're going to be terrible in this game, right? If the Giants are being more aggressive, that probably means a little more man coverage on the back end, and that's kind of a spot where quarterbacks. I think quarterbacks, if they're looking at the Giants, like, hey, blitz me. Let me find a man coverage matchup because my guys are going to win, especially if Paulson Adebo is not able to go. But you know what? They're if the Giants are blitzing and playing man coverage behind it, Drew Phillips, probably gonna be a really tough game for him, right? If they got Deonte Banks or Corey Black out there, gonna be a tough game for those guys. Really, the only guy you trust out there is Corey Black. I really don't even trust our Belton or Holland too much on Hunter Henry. Like, I expect that guy to win that matchup. So, let's put a bow on the Charlie Bull and just again, I think there's going to be more natural aggression just because it's interim defensive coordinator, right? Well, I will be interested to see is the Patriots are a bad rushing offense. They're flat out bad. Can they limit the Patriots to under 100 rushing yards, right? Can they get off blocks and just win individually? Or is that Wednesday practice, station to station, just moot? Did that become unimportant and it's just simply these guys are what they were against the Detroit Lions as run defenders? So that's a question. I think you're going to see DBs blitzing a little more. So, look for that Drew Phillips sack in this game. In fact, I'm calling it Drew Phillips sack. Vidarian Lowe blocks Brian. I'm going to call it right now. Either Abdul or Brian Burns is going to work an outside-inside move on Vidarian Lowe, and Drew Phillips is going to be a free rusher. Sack. Just calling it right now. If that happens, please, please clap. But anyways, to get back to that, I think you're going to see more aggression, blitzing, more fire zones, and things of that nature. And I'm excited to see what we have with Charlie Bullen, just because it's kind of new. So it's always nice to see something new. Also, Grump, I don't know if you saw my tweet. I think this is going to become a new game for me. Is every single person the Giants hire, I want to connect him to Joe Judge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did see this tweet.
So here's how this is a little more complicated, but the Giants hired head coach Joe Judge, who then hired Brett Bielema as outside linebacker coach, who then got hired as the Illinois head coach, who then hired Charlie Bullen as an outside linebacker coach. But Joe Judge got fired, so the Giants had to hire Brian Dable, who fired Wink Martindale and outside linebacker coach Drew Wilkins. So he had to hire Shane Bowen at defensive coordinator and Charlie Bullen at outside linebacker coach from Brett Bielema, but Brian Dable got fired and the Shane Bowen got fired. So now Charlie Bullen is the Giants defensive coordinator. So I think that's going to be my new game. And we're going to have a new coaching staff. Is just who's the actor that people play that game with?
Oh my god, is it, it's Kevin Bacon.
Kevin,
6
yeah,
Degrees of
it's
Kevin
Kevin Bacon. So that's going to be the new game for the shows. Anytime the Giants hire a coach, it's connecting to Joe Judge, which, to be fair, is kind of easy when you coach under Belichick and Saban because those trees are just so there's so many branches because they've been head coaches for 20 plus years in the same.
Yeah, and you can see the Joe Judge influence on fundamentals, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's clear. It's clear as day. Uh
We need the
Other
Charlie Bullen, like, sliding in the mud, recovering a fumble picture.
Yeah. Isn't it it's very crazy to think how much of like a college staff Joe Judge. Like, he had like 5 like former college head coaches. He had like Derek Dooley from Tennessee, Kevin Sherrer, or Jeremy Pruitt from Tennessee. Brett Bielema from, Wisconsin, Arkansas, and now Illinois. Was there any other college? Jody Wright ended up being the head coach at what college? I forget this. I'm a Jody Wright guy. But he had a lot of college head coaches, and now Joe Judge. I mean, he's going to become the Ole Miss head coach here any day soon.
I'm excited for him. I actually think Joe Judge will be a great college head coach.
Yeah, I think he's good to run the organization. It's just he's got to have some type of offensive identity. That's the thing.
Right.
I was always the thing with Joe Judge. You need to have a better offensive identity. You cannot run an offense like this. Let's talk a little bit about the Giants cleanup. Dexter Lawrence did not practice on Wednesday. No, there's actually not even a true injury report. This is one of the reasons why I like recording on the evening of Thursday is we do have a good grasp of where injuries are at, but clearly dealing with the injury. It's the elbow. They say it's the same elbow. So we don't know when he re-injured it. We know he at least re-injured it more so in the game, right? Was in a pitch count. He hasn't been on a full pitch count this year. So we can't say too much on that, but I am on high alert to see if he's a do not practice again. Because if he's a do not practice again, I think we're looking at him not playing. Which
And we know what
you could do all the
looks
run
like when
defense
he's not on the
stations.
field.
You could do all the block shedding stations. If he's not playing, they're gonna go after you. Although we did say that last year against the Saints, and Shane Bowen just went the most all-out stop the run game I've ever seen in my entire life. So maybe you see that without Dexter Lawrence. Maybe the run defense improves because they just get so aggressive with it.
Just run blitzes, and
That's what they did against the Saints last year. Because remember all week, oh my gosh, the Saints are going to run for 190 yards. This run defense is terrible with Dex. And then Shane Bowen said, not so fast, my friends, and just went, again, the most aggressive run defensive game I've ever seen covering the Giants. Here's something I do feel confident. I think we're getting Jaxson Dart back this week. And I'm trying to not buy too much into the hype. But it's going to be hard for me to not tweet out like a picture of Eli and Brady of like the new Eli and Brady of Jaxson Dart versus Drake May. Like I'm so excited. Like we went through the Daniel Jones losing the games on prime time and having to deal with that stat. So Dart's 1-0 with that Eagles Thursday Night Football game. Dart has made me excited for primetime games because then it's maybe this guy plays his best on prime time. So I am excited to see Dart back out there. And I'm pretty confident he's going to play. I'm glad we didn't do some 20-minute segment last week on Jaxson Dart being back only for him to get ruled out. That would have sucked.
Oh my God. Yeah, really. Yeah, I mean, Jameis is also exciting, does give you an actual fighting chance to win. I thought he played above where I usually have Jameis, although we only got the 2-game span so far, so it usually deteriorates as the span length.
Number one passing offense if Jameis was at quarterback.
But Jaxson Dart does give you like a fighting chance to win just about every time he's on the field. So the only time it really didn't feel that way was probably the Saints game, where he was actively just bad. I'm especially interested to finally see Kafka and his influence with Jaxson Dart, how he calls the game. I think, you know, the Jaxson Dart running thing completely aside, just how aggressive he gets with Jaxson Dart, how much he has him continue to develop going through his progressions, etc. So there's a lot to watch out for here with even though we've had 2 weeks of Mike Kafka, this is going to be like a whole different way to look at Mike Kafka and how he runs this team and this offense.
Right. Yeah, that's where I'm like, what is different with Mike Kafka? You saw a little more variation to what they were doing, some new things under Mike Kafka with Jameis in week 2 compared to week 1. And you see some of like Mike Kafka likes to run 4 guys to one side. Like you saw a couple times. It was even that final play of regulation where they went for a 4th down. They lined up in the diamond formation. Do you see that where they have 4 receivers and they're in a diamond and they're shining bright? So you saw some stuff like that. But it'll be interesting to see. Like, all right, Jaxson Dart, rookie. They've obviously spammed some things and added variations to that. But they've also got so run heavy the last 2 weeks from under center and use play action off of it where that was like the one thing that like, this is a weakness in Jackson Dart's game. The under center play action. One, teams don't respect it, so it's a little muddier, and he was just not seeing stuff until the Bears game. You saw him find success on. I think he had more success in that individual game with under center play action compared to his entire time, other 6 starts with the Giants. So we'll see how he looks with that. But I'm excited to see him on prime time. I think he's a hope, or at least I'm hoping he's a prime time player.
Yeah, I think so too. Also with the under center thing, even just taking snaps from center is not a strength of Jackson Dart. We saw it in the Senior Bowl. He fumbled a lot, like an alarming amount of snaps from under center. Now, thankfully, it hasn't reared its head really at this level, but he's taken
Just the
most of the
short
shotgun
game.
center. Yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah, a lot to look out for in this game. But I think you're right. I think the Jackson Dart kind of does shine pretty bright under the lights. So. And it would be nice to have that kind of juju going forward.
That would be our 2 of our 3 wins would only be in prime. Like, what now we went from not being able to win in prime time ever to we only win on, uh, on prime time.
Oh my
I
god, that would be my attendance nightmare.
you know what I'm thankful for? I'm thankful that we don't have to play on Thanksgiving this year. Last
Oh,
year
yeah.
that was probably 2022, they were good, so it was, some excitement, even though that's, like, their worst stretch of the football was that. Last year was so depressing. It's like, I'm leaving my family to go cover Drew Lock playing quarterback. This sucks. But anyways, you got anything else before we bring on Danny King?
I do not, other than yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. There's nothing like, working on Thanksgiving just to cover a losing team. So I feel bad for all the years of Detroit Lions podcasters out there.
That's as much as I love the Lions on, playing on Thanksgiving every year, that had to be miserable for being a Lions writer. Although I'll say this before Danny King jumps on, I for who's the sideline reporter for Fox?
Cam Oliver?
No, Aaron Andrews.
Aaron
So
Andrews?
she did some type of
Oh, I
interview
saw this. Yeah,
and awful announcing, been like, said like the challenge, the sacrifice of her career giving up. And so every sports media member started jumping on that. And there was this guy who covers the Jets for the New York Daily News, and he's like, "I've missed family members' weddings because it's." I was like, "No, dude, you do not miss family members' weddings to cover the Jets. I'm sorry. You take that day off and you go to the family member's wedding. That's unacceptable. Um, like evaluate yourself. New York Daily News does not care about you like that, dude. So
Also, like
I say this as Grump is here sick at 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving.
yeah, exactly. Uh, I bucked up and I'm here. But, like, seriously, who's getting married on, like, a Sunday in the fall? It's one thing to get married in the fall already sucks, but, like
Even if they are, you show up the family member, you don't say, "No, I
yeah,
gotta
no, I get it.
yeah, it's against the Broncos." Like, I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. Uh, you know, uh, but I was just like, I understand that sometimes it does suck, but, like, sports media people lose touch so much. It's unbelievable. It's like, there's so much sacrifice. I was like, "I don't know, dude." Like, I worked a lot of real jobs and regular jobs. You know what sucked was freaking lifting logs all day. That was terrible. I hated that. This is pretty sick. Um, all right, let's take a break and then bring on Danny King. All right, we now welcome on Danny King for weather and trivia. Happy Thanksgiving, Danny. And you got an extra day and hours earlier, right? This is an extra 42 hours you have to forecast than you usually do. What do we got for weather in Foxborough, Massachusetts?
I'm actually going to be there on Monday. I'm subjecting myself to this horror show of a game. Can't wait. And it will be cold, but it'll be nice weather. It'll be nice weather. It'll be 44 degrees, but low of 26. Probably around like kickoff, it'll be like in the upper 30s. So if you're going to Foxborough, dress warm. Just dress warm because it'll feel like in like the low 30s, upper 20s. So you don't want to get frostbite, or maybe you do. I don't know what your prerogative is. Wind 10 miles per hour, a little less maybe. So you're chilling. Don't worry about the wind. Just worry about staying warm. It was supposed to rain apparently, but that rain's not happening. That's what the models are saying. Not happening.
No rain. Um, have you ever been to Foxborough?
I have not. This will be my first time.
It's weird. It's in the middle of nowhere.
That's what I'm hearing, and I'm like, how? Like, what do you mean? Just I'm like, that's
So was MetLife.
They've created I mean MetLife's in you've got the big mall there, like there's a bunch of highways and
swamp.
yeah, but it's you could see New York City from it.
Feel me right there.
Where Foxborough now they created that Patriot Place thing where it's a little more happening there. Even though me, Justin, and my wife we went to dinner there and it was the biggest restaurant I've ever seen, but it was extremely empty. There was only 3 people in there. And the group next to us was a group of 5 guys, and they were I think me and Grump and Danny are very similar, where we're not when we laugh, and just every single thing they said was the funniest thing in the entire world. And it actually made dinner less enjoyable, where it's oh my God, dude. And you guys are not that funny. I'm sorry, you're not that funny. Uh, but what do we got for trivia this week? We got Giants-Patriots. I mean, Bear-Pasca. What do we got?
Well, first off, I decided to have a quick little bonus one since we're filming this on Thanksgiving Day. Are you guys able to name the Giants that scored in the last 3 Thanksgiving games by chance? I was just wondering.
No, I know that I can.
2017, you can argue a little bit of a curveball or not curveball.
They only had 1 touch. Did they had maybe 1 touchdown in that game?
Yes.
All right. So last year, Drew Lock had a rushing touchdown.
That is correct. Sorry.
So let's see. Did Drew Lock throw any touchdowns in that game?
I want to say yes.
So it wasn't Wandale didn't score 1. Slayton didn't score 1. Neighbors didn't score 1. Maybe Theo Johnson had a touchdown no, he didn't. That's the game Theo Johnson broke his foot in. So Drew Lock had a rushing touchdown.
Did Tracy?
That's the other one.
Tyrone Tracy. Okay.
Was it receiving or rushing?
Russian.
Okay, so only 2 touchdowns. So in the 2022 game, Richie James had a garbage time touchdown on that one. I'll say Saquon had one in the first Cowboys game. Did he have one in the second one? That's the game where Hodges had a touchdown that got called back. Yeah, I'll say did Jones have a rushing one in that one too?
No, it was just Saquon.
Okay, so all right, so we got 3 out of 4 Grump, and then the Commanders game, I'll say Orleans Darkwa.
No, I was gonna say Vereen or something.
That was the trick question. It was Janoris Jenkins. Janoris Jenkins had a pick 6 in that game for a touchdown. So I mean, hey, the more you know. And so I went back. I understand Giants are AFC, NFC, so they obviously they don't play that much, but the series is tied 7-7. So the more you know, the winner of this series takes the advantage.
Does that include playoffs though?
I do not. Actually, that does include playoffs, I believe. Yes, that does include playoffs.
Okay, because we won a couple playoff games again.
Yeah, we won. I think you can arguably the more important games, but that's besides the point. I went back to the 2015 game where it was a barn burner between the undefeated Patriots and the Giants. Unfortunately, the Giants lost because that's all they did in 2015. 27, 26. Can you guys give me the 2 New York Giants that the 3 New York Giants that recorded a sack in 2015?
A sack. Oh, God. So, I'm trying to remember sacks from a game is tough. I remember Odell had an 80-something yard touchdown in that game. Landon Collins had the dropped interception. I mean, I guess I'll go JPP.
Yeah. I'm trying to even think. JPP is the only edge defender I can remember from the 2015 team.
Was that Robert Ayers? The Robert Ayers year?
Oh, that could be a Robert Ayers year.
And then I'll go Jonathan Casillas. I don't know. It's very random. I don't remember any of them.
Well, Robert Ayers was a great pull from both you guys. Robert Ayers was indeed a sack on that game. JPP did not have a sack that game.
He might not have even been active for that game. I don't know when they played the Patriots in the year, but that was the hand blow up year, wasn't it? 2015.
Yeah.
He recorded a pass deflection, but I don't even know how many snaps he played. While I'm looking at the extensive notes. The other two were Craig Dahl.
Oh,
how can we forget that one, Danny Kane?
Picked up a sack, and you guys think, oh, how could I forget Craig Dahl? How can you forget Jasper Brinkley? How can you forget Jasper Brinkley?
This is impossible for us to remember. If anyone remembered that,
really?
and be honest, comment, and I will, I don't know what I'll do, because
I didn't even remember when this game was in the schedule, because I know that JPP came back for the Panthers game, right? That was the first game he came back.
11/15/2015 is when this game was.
I guess not then, because that Panthers game was definitely in December.
I mean, I was trying to see if I could make any fun of the 2023 Giants-Pats game when Bill Belichick told Ryland to intentionally miss that field goal so they get Drake May. But that game was so boring and miserable. Shout out Wes, though, for being there. We saw our franchise continue to fall down a cliff with that win.
I was there. I saw Isaiah Hodgins score the touchdown right in front of me. I'll be honest. I cheered when he missed the kick. I wasn't going to be an asshole who was sitting there. I was like, you know what? I'm at a game. They won.
Oh, I cheered.
Okay. My cheering doesn't change anything. And I'm not going to deal with Twitter crybabies. All right. What do we got? Fantasy. This was a week. Danny King broke the single game scoring record with Jahmyr Gibbs last week. He scored a total of 87.8 points, and he broke my record, which hurts a little bit, but I'm actually not stuck up on that. What hurts me is the game that he is taking out of the single game record that had 85.1s is 2021 week 5, the Kadarius Toney game. It just hurts me to have his legacy not to have that record anymore. So Danny, with that scoring performance to Jahmyr Gibbs, Danny getting Gibbs last week and then me having to decide who I pick first this week, it's not unfair, but it feels unfair. Grump had 47 points. I had 45 points. So good weeks for both of us. But Danny opens up a 74-point lead on myself and a 117-point lead on Grump. So I got to start chiseling away with this. I do have the first pick this week. I'm going Trevion Henderson, right? They check it down to him, so I'm at least getting carries and catches in this game. It's safe, but maybe he explodes in this one. I just don't feel like betting on any of the other receivers, so I'm going to go Trevion Henderson with pick 1-1. Danny, who do you have pick number 2? Ramondre Stevenson. Maybe Trevion Henderson gets injured this week or something,
Hey, you never know. Shout out Jahmyr Gibbs, though. I did the math. I checked to see what I think my last number 1 pick game will be this season, and I believe it's the Minnesota Vikings. So that stinks. That stinks because I got to deal with 9 JJ McCarthy. I'll go with the
one cut up of Max Brosmer throwing over the middle, and I'm like, or Brosmer, and I'm like, maybe he is like, maybe they have their own Brock Purdy situation here.
My pick will be Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't think much needs to be said. PPR merchant, and we need a PPR merchant. I need a PPR merchant.
Yeah, I mean, coming off of a career game, I did have him number 2 on my big board as well. But the reason I didn't pick him first, I was like, you know what? Don't let career game trying to chase that always gets you in trouble. But yeah, I mean, he is the Giants' top receiver, so it's understandable taking him number 2. He was number 2 on my big board. Grump, you've got back-to-back picks here.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought Wan'Dale would be available for me here. I'm a little bit. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit worried about taking some Patriots players because of Will Campbell being out. That being said, I feel like taking Hunter Henry is probably a safe bet because there'll probably be some underneath stuff, some quick stuff that they'll get to him. I think he has like the second most receiving yards, I think, for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. But then I have to snake, and now, I'm stuck because I don't really know. I'm gonna I am legitimately worried about taking Stephon Diggs. Like, normally I would never say that, but I just don't know that like anything downfield is going to be available if Drake May is running for his life. So I'm gonna just do something totally different and go for Isaiah Hodgins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let's throw it out there. Let balls to the wall type.
All right. Guy had 2 catches last week. So taking him over the Patriots receiver. Again, this
I mean, you
Grump is
pick
just trying to
Darius.
upset me. Just trying to upset me. That's
You
all
pick
it is.
Darius Slayton every single week, and he does jack shit. So
I picked him in the 4th round
him
over
out.
Devin Singletary.
Call him out.
And he had
by
one
the way.
catch, right?
Yeah, which was the same amount of points as Devin Singletary getting 25 carries.
But they should have given him that touchdown. I was right.
Brock Wright also had more points than Devin Singletary last week. So let the record show that I was correctamundo. Also, you got to start getting the back-to-back. You got to pick the Giant first to show
I'm
confidence in
not
the
doing
team.
it. They don't
show
deserve
confidence
it.
in the team. Okay?
He's correct.
Why?
They don't deserve it.
To show confidence in the team. Okay, they're 2 and 10.
I don't have any.
That's because you don't do it. That's because you don't. That's because you don't.
Why. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's
It's Thanksgiving, okay? There's things called traditions. Danny, who do you have with the second pick?
Ugh, man. Man, oh man.
I swear to God, if you take someone that we already picked.
I'm gonna be honest. I completely missed Grump's other option. I know he took Diggs. I was too busy laughing.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. I'm stupid. We were talking about him taking Diggs. That's where I got thrown off. Man,
3, 2.
you can't put me on the clock like that. That's a penalty.
But just make a pick. It's not life or death.
You know what?
You have a 74-point cushion.
You know what?
It's not life or death unless you pick Singletary.
True.
Yeah, I'm truly embarrassed though, because I all I know is Grump took Hodgins, and I missed the other pick entirely. I'm gonna take Diggs.
Okay. Finally, we got it the easy answer. I really was hoping you thought that Grump did take Stephon Diggs. All right,
I knew it took Hodgins. That's all I knew.
Gosh, this sucks. So I'm going to take Tyrone Tracy. Right? I'm going to at least take RB1. He's had a lot of receiving yards the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to take Tyrone Tracy, and this is where. Also, now I got to fight. Grump is actively making it harder for me to climb back because now Danny gets Diggs.
Just pick Slayton.
One of these receivers has to have just a random game, right? Because you have Slayton, Matt Collins, Theo Johnson, Kayshon Boutte, Demario Douglas. It's just one of those guys. And you know what? I am gonna go Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton.
And I legitimately hope that you get points and he has a big game because it's been depressing how not impressive he's been.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, again, he had, a couple of good back-to-back games, and then Dart got injured, and then the last. Yeah. Slayton, do something, dude. Come on. Damn it. Danny, your third pick.
All right, so Grump took Hodges. Who was his other pick, genuinely?
Hunter Henry.
Thank you. By the way, Hunter Henry carried me last week in fantasy. We'll say that.
Hunter Henry carried him in fantasy? Oh, carried you.
Carried me
Oh,
in fantasy. I guess then I go Theo?
All right, yeah, that makes sense. Theo Johnson. All righty. Grump, your final 2 picks.
I mean, I feel like it's like you said, it's got to be one of these guys. So I'll just take them both. I'll take Kayshon Boutte and Matt Collins. Matt Collins could actually have I don't really like him that much, but he can have a big game just winning one-on-ones.
Yep. All right, Danny, your final pick.
This is easy.
It is.
I think anyway. Yeah.
Don't take Devin Singletary.
No, that's not what I meant.
I'll be honest, a part of me did half consider taking Devin Singletary for the meme. I'll probably just go Demario Douglas.
Oh, that's what I want. I wanted DeMario Douglas.
You guys are crazy.
Singletary's right there.
No,
Who would you take, Grump?
Stevenson.
Okay,
Dexter
you're right.
Lawrence
Okay.
may not even play.
That's a great point. That was a great point.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson. That was my pick. I was waiting for you to say something I disagreed with, Grump, to be honest.
Yeah, Gunnar Olszewski.
Which it is funny that Gunnar Olszewski has had, my receiving yards bet. He's actually contributed more yards than he has actually receiving yards. He has more passing yards than receiving yards, which I feel like only strengthens the point that I was making. People are like, "Oh, mate, you're gonna have to lose that bet." I'm like, "No, I'm not. He has more passing yards than receiving yards. He strengthens my argument every day, even if he somehow does get to 100 receiving yards." All right, to recap, Danny in first place has Wan'Dale Robinson, Stephon Diggs, Theo Johnson, and Pop Douglas. Myself, 74 points back. Trevion Henderson, Tyrone Tracy, Darius Slayton, and Ramondre Stevenson need a big ground game. Grump has in last place 117 points back. Hunter Henry, Isaiah Hodgins, Kayshon Boutte, and Mac Hollins. Grump doesn't like speed. He's a size guy. Giant factors. Week 13 giant factor for me. This is where I'm looking around the edges, right? I'm past the point of like Bobby Okereke, show up, or Andrew Thomas, have a great game. You protect the blind side. I want to see what we have on the edges for next year. Zaire Barnes at linebacker. He's the only guy to play linebacker instinctively this year for the Giants. He made a couple mistakes, but he played fast, right? Helped break up some passes, had some tackles. Put him in the game over Swayze Bozeman or Demetrius Flangen-Fowles, who's probably going to be out. Let Zaire Barnes go in there and run and chase. You need a little run and chase in this run defense, and not perfectly, not making any mental mistakes, but being slow and behind. So Zaire Barnes, let the guy go out there and make a damn play. Zaire Barnes be a giant factor. Danny, you're week 13 giant factor.
This is kind of embarrassing. My giant factor was gonna be Bobby Okereke.
Go for it.
Because I was embarrassing last week. What was going on in the middle of that defense? Where Jahmyr Gibbs would just run through untouched, and then he would just explode, and like he put up 55 points fantasy wise. That's last week. That is unbelievable. Like we said, I understand Dexter Lawrence not being out there suck. Can someone make a damn tackle, make a play on the ball? Can we do anything? Anything in this world? Because Bobby Okereke, he's still got one more year on the contract with this team. If whoever is in charge of this franchise next year us to keep him, do something. Make it worth our while to still have you on this team. I remember watching Bobby Okereke 2022 and having fun. 2023, nah. Look, let's get back to that with Okereke because I want to be a fan of him. Like, make a tackle. Let's slow down the run game when they get past the defensive line with Dexter Lawrence on in, but just do something. Make it worth our while to watch you.
Grump, you're week 13 giant factor. Please say a linebacker.
I'm not going to say a linebacker, although I do think that those are both good picks. I'm going to go Darius Alexander. We've seen some steady improvement from him in some regards here or there in the other places. He went from being like just downright unwatchable at the preseason level, lining up like 3 yards off the ball. Look at how far we come with 2 sacks last week. It still has plenty to improve upon. If Dexter Lawrence isn't going to play this week, then a major step forward could happen this week. Go out there and show yourself in the run game. Continue to push the pocket and get some pressures this week. I think that the Patriots are going to be well aware of their deficiencies at left tackle and maybe try and overcompensate and do weird things where Drake May is rolling out of the pocket. Something to create some space, create some time for Drake May. Go out there and win your battles. Push the pocket forward, win in the interior, get him running into sacks. You may not hit the stat sheet yourself, but if you are forcing Drake May to have to run into the pressure that's going to come from his left side, then you'll be doing your job. Darius Alexander, we need you to be not a bust. Joe Shane being here next year or not, he's still a fundamental piece. He was a premier asset in a day 2 pick. So let's see that continued improvement, Darius Alexander. Go be a Giant factor.
Yeah, play the run. Play the run, Darius Alexander.
Do it.
All right, time for spread picks. This is always a special week because it is Thanksgiving, and we keep track of Thanksgiving records. We all had a decent week. Or, Grump had a good week. He went 6-2. Danny went 5-3. I went 4-4. The listeners 3-5. So Danny is back in first place at 45-52. Grump is in second with 44-53. I'm in third, one game back, and the listeners are in last at 38-59. So we're gonna do these 3 Thanksgiving games first. Obviously, when people listen to this, they already know. But before this, Danny is 9-3 on Thanksgiving. The listeners 8-4. Myself 7-5. So we've got a good beat on Thanksgiving. Grump is 0-0. Because he new to the show, and Justin finishes at 5-7 on Thanksgiving. Packers at Lions -2.5. I have a take.
Take.
I watched the film, bro.
Oh.
Dan Campbell is a bad play caller.
Oh.
He calls it like Jason Garrett. They ran all curls, curl flat, stick. It was I think they were teammates at one point, and maybe he's leaning on Jason Garrett. Now they have the talent to do it pretty well, but you know what? They should have had 40-something points on the Giants in reality with the way their run game worked. They got away from it. I think Dan Campbell, I'm judging him off of one sample size of actually really studying the film, bro. But I didn't like it. And for that fact, I'm going Packers +2.5. The listeners, represented by Anthony Howe, are going Packers as well. Danny, who do you got, Mr. Thanksgiving? That's your new nickname, Mr. Thanksgiving.
I love that. Last time I did a Thanksgiving episode, I said the Lions have crap, I forgot my stat. I think that Lions have lost when it's a wax and gibbous moon. That's what it is. The Lions have always lost when it's a wax and gibbous moon. It is not a wax and gibbous moon tonight. So with that, I will be going with the Lions.
I was really, really rooting for it to be a wax and gibbous moon.
That was a really deep cut weatherman kind of. You have to do when Dan Campbell is wearing his glasses versus where he's not.
That is another great
figure
point.
out where the play calling stands on that. I have no idea. I think I've said this 100 times why the Lions didn't run 40 times and pass 20 times against us. That being said, I'm going Detroit Lions as well. I believe in the moon theory.
A lot on the line here. All right, Chiefs at Cowboys +3.5. This is going to be the most watched game in NFL history, by the way, breaking the Giants record with the Cowboys on Thanksgiving in 2022. And for that reason, I got to go Chiefs -3.5. Do you think Dak Prescott and the Cowboys are going to their vibes are starting to turn around? They got a couple wins. All right, they're feeling good. Maybe we're going to be a playoff team. And then, nope, Chiefs are going to take it to their throat. Chiefs -3.5. The listeners got Cowboys. Grump, who do you got?
I have the Cowboys as well, although now you're shaking my confidence.
Someone's shaking your camera too. I love shaking your confidence. Danny, who you got? I shake you like a rag doll.
I'll also be going Cowboys. I think this is just going to be a shootout.
All right, me versus the world. I love it. And then Bengals at Ravens -7. Joe Burrow is back. He's excited. Lamar is saying that he wished he didn't have to play on Thanksgiving. Very relatable. But for that reason, I'm going Bengals +7. They cover. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase coming back from his suspension for spitting on somebody. Bengals +7. Listeners have Ravens. Danny, who do you got?
Yeah, despite the Bengals getting in at 12:30 last night, I think at bare minimum they'll cover.
Grump?
I'm going to agree. Bengals cover.
A lot of pride in Thanksgiving spread picks. Let's see who comes out. Did everybody? So Grump did a good job. He followed Mr. Thanksgiving. So you guys have the exact same picks.
Oh, look at that.
It's mine and horribly for him.
So yeah, me and the listeners, and then you guys are the only two of the same picks. All right, now we got Black Friday 2:00 because of course Bears at Eagles -7. Who do you got for this one, Grump?
I'm going Philly on this one. I know vibes are bad, but 7's a lot.
It is crazy how Philly can consistently like be good and just have like the worst vibes in the NFL. And it's been like since week 1, right? It hasn't even like been like a little 2-week stretch. It's just every week. I'm gonna go Bears +7. I think Ben Johnson and what they're able to do keeps this game at least close. Listeners agree. Danny, who do you got?
I'm also rocking with the Bears to cover. I think they could just win outright too, quite frankly.
Texans at Colts -4.5. What about this one, Danny?
CJ Stroud, I believe, is going to be back this game. I hope I'm correct on that. CJ Stroud injury. We'll start once clear. I don't know. I'll bet CJ Stroud's going to play.
Okay.
And so I think the Texans can keep this game close.
I agree, and their defense is just nasty. So I'm gonna go Texans as well. Grump.
I don't agree. Indianapolis scores lots of points, so that's all I'm going off of.
All right, you and the listeners are as one. Rams at Panthers +10. Grump, as our North Carolina representative, who do you got in this one?
I'm going Rams. I think the Rams are going to the fucking Super Bowl this year. They look incredible.
Why are you such a Panthers hater? That's your team.
I mean, because they're bad. They're bad this year. You know, maybe I'll change my tune in our predictions when they're actually a good team.
This is like their best year ever.
Yeah.
Or
In terms of
ever.
vibes, yeah, I was going to say, I think 2015 might have been a better year for them.
And that's why I always hate the Panthers. 2015, when that Josh Norman game, I'll hate them till the end of time.
For
Josh Norman. And also, they had Cortland Finnegan in that defensive backfield, might be my most hated player of all time.
Hey, his name is Cortland Finnegan. You want to know why? Because Andre
Why? 'Cause
Johnson
you got
beat
the
the F out
BF
of
him.
it.
Yeah,
that was a great
that's awesome.
Facebook meme from the day. Panthers, Carolina, Mike at home. I'm going Panthers +10. Listeners are going Rams. Danny, who do you got? Oh, this is. You know what this is?
Oh, it's me versus Grump.
This is the Grump versus Danny King Bowl. This is LA versus Charlotte. What do we got? You got to go Rams.
Couldn't be represented any better than this, huh?
Yeah, you should have taken Panthers out of principle.
Out of moral standards. After what I saw last week, before Baker went down, the Rams are just unstoppable. Give me LA, and also I want Chris Shula. I'll say it now. Hot take.
Someone sent me a Reddit post of like something about like Central Florida Giants fans. And they're like, I'm pretty sure Bobby Skinner's from there. It's like, yeah, nobody from that podcast is anywhere near the New Jersey area. Because
That's true.
now, granted, I've been in Florida for a long time. You guys just moved in the last couple of years. Grump the last couple of months, basically. 49ers at Browns +4.5. You know what? Danny, you go first.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about perfect timing. I'm rocking with Shador and the Cleveland Browns.
Grump.
I'm going Cleveland as well. I'm thinking that defense. Defense is nuts, and San Francisco looked really ragged.
I was hoping you guys picked the 49ers because it's a little known fact. Kyle Shanahan can't beat Jim Schwartz. He cannot beat Jim Schwartz. So I'm gonna go Browns as well. The listeners are going 49ers. It is funny that Shador, like, did you guys see the Shador thing where he's like, imagine a whole offseason? Like that was very like okay, that was funny. It was cool or whatever. It has reached the point where Shador is like the most polarizing player because people are just dug in. They're like, this cocky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And then also there's people who just think like the world is rigged against him. You see, and so it's leaked into it's one thing for people online to say that. I could not believe this question he got asked. I don't know if you guys saw it at his press conference. A report says, all your supporters think Kevin Stefanski is sabotaging you. And he's like, he's like, you're just trying to start trouble. Like, what kind of question is that? All your supporters say Kevin Stefanski is sabotaging you. Like, what It's like, what kind of question is that? Like, yeah, he is. He's a piece of shit who's sabotaging me.
That's like asking Saquon, is he gonna piss and burn down Soldier Field?
It's worse. I actually think it's worse. I think it's worse. Asking if your saying all your supporters are sabotaging you. And then final, we got Bills at Steelers plus 3.5. This is the two winning records teams that I think are ugly and flawed, and I hate them. But I'm going to go with the quarterback in that matchup. Bills minus 3.5. Listeners got Bills as well. Danny, you circling the wagons?
Yeah, circling the wagon. Steelers are crumbling. Yeah, they're going downhill for Steelers.
Grump?
Make it a clean sweep. I agree with you, Bobby, but I think for Buffalo, there's enough youth and talent there to carry sloppy play. I think the bottom's coming out from Pittsburgh.
Yeah. All right, before we get into score predictions,
Did we ever get a weather report?
yeah, it's gonna be the high 30s. Dress warm.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You said it was going to be cold as hell, but also nice weather, which didn't make sense to me.
Well, there's like nice cold, and then there's like, why am I here type.
No, there isn't.
Yes,
There is no such thing as nice.
100%
cold.
is. Yeah,
It sucks.
I landed last night, and I was like, oh, this feels great. I was like, this feels great.
I went to one snow game in my life, and that was the most fun I've ever had at a cold setting. So I argue that nice cold is actually what you would describe as bad cold.
Bobby, what's your thoughts on cold?
Florida man over here.
Yeah, I always feel like I like it in theory, and then when I'm in it, I'm like, I hate this. I hate this. I spent 2 years in Minnesota, right? So, like, I've experienced consistent cold before, colder than
It sucks. It's depressing. It makes you want to stay inside.
Yeah, yeah.
But whether you still want to go outside, and you do.
Upstate's horrible this time of year.
Yeah. I am hoping for a little snow for that Commanders game that we're up for in a couple weeks, though. I think we're gonna Grump. We gotta iron out details. I was thinking of trying to record at the stadium after the game, like just going live after the game at the stadium.
I would be down for that. We have to figure out logistics.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out. Because it's Thanksgiving, we have to say, what are you thankful for, Danny? What are you thankful for?
Thankful for shout out Bobby for bringing me back to do weather. Even though I sometimes forget fantasy picks every once in a while, and by every once in a while, pretty good clip this year. We'll work on that. But appreciate Bobby bringing me back. Even though the listeners love me so much, I love you too, listeners. Thank you for supporting the show.
Don't listen to the vocal minority, Danny.
No, I'm joking. Everyone supporting the show. That's awesome. We need your support to make this the greatest Giants show there is. Just imagine when the Giants start winning, and then shout out Grump for just being Grump. Grump, the nice guy on Twitter. That sounds weird. Nice guy on Twitter, but appreciate Grump also letting me join for the journey. So shout out the boys.
I'm trying to not. You're being nice and saying thankful, and this is where I'm a bad person because I'm just being like, I'm thinking of jokes where you're like a nice guy on Twitter, and I'm like asshole in real life. Grump, what are you thankful for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like overly sappy, but I think I'm in a unique position to be thankful for you, Bobby, for bringing me along for this. It wasn't that long ago that I was doing this simply for fun and just because other people told me I should, and they were like, why are you just telling me this stuff? Like, yeah, just you should say this on like the internet. And now here I am. I was at the Devils game last night and ran into just like a random person named Will that recognized me right off the rip. And I'm having a ton of fun doing this, and I love doing this stuff. It's 11:30 on Thanksgiving in the morning, hanging out with you guys and the listeners for joining us too, because this took a monumental movement to even get started. So as much as I can be thankful for Bobby and Danny, the listeners are what make this happen. And I guess I can also say I'm thankful for the New Jersey Devils actually not being depressing this year. So got to witness another overtime win last night. So I've got some good winter sports headed my way, even if the Giants are horrible.
That's nice. I'm thankful for Kadarius Toney and the life he lived.
Yep.
That we got to experience a little part of that. So I'm thankful for that. So the listeners is always the cop-out answer, but like especially this year with the whole move to Giants Nation show. So, you know, that's been huge, but the listeners know that, right? We thank the listeners all the time. They know we're thankful for them, right? And they know that we're excited to get. We were talking pre-show. It's like, dude, we're gonna kill draft covers this year, right? Me and you, Grump, are gonna kill it. You know, we're playing Senior Bowl stuff. We may even have Breaking Big Blue. Like we're excited for, you know, to kill this off season. But I do want to, I know I didn't expect you guys to thank me, but I am thankful for Grump for stepping up immediately. The first call I made. Danny King, you know, we've been working this together since day one. And I'm glad that you're, you know, still willing to do it. My wife behind the scenes has been amazing with all this. Obviously, I'm more thankful for her for more reasons than editing a podcast. But Bill Brunning helped us get the website going. He helps me in basically anything we need to do. John Gleason, who makes all the T-shirt designs. He's a former New York Giants Fan of the Year. He's been a supporter for a long time. Thankful for Jordan Renan, Breaking Big Blue. I'm actually, this is always like more of like a, you know, funny segment, but I'm actually being earnest. I hope I'm not missing anyone who's like directly helped us either in front of the camera or behind the scenes. I think we've got everybody, right? You know, even Julian made the logos. Who was the kid who helped us for one night of the draft, and then he made the Jaxson Dart draft pick graphic 2 hours later, and it was him in a USC uniform? He looked like Julian, and it's a shame it didn't work out because he did look like Julian. But I want to thank him.
Shout out. It's a good moment, honestly, when you think about it.
And I think Body Armor, the Sussex County Miners, SeatGeek, and Candlewick Diner, all alike. So thank you guys. Oh, we gotta do score predictions. Danny, what's your score prediction for the game?
I mean, just because I'm gonna be there, and you guys talked about it. I think it was right after it was on the Shane Bowen episode that the Giants are kind of entered a stretch of games where like they stand a very good chance of winning, and with Will Campbell out and the other offensive lineman out, I forgot his name. Doesn't matter. Giants are gonna win.
Garrett Wilson.
Thank you.
He was in the Bobby mock draft this year.
Oh, great call. Unfortunately, we won't get to watch him, but hopefully Brian Burns has a good Giants win. We'll go. I'll go 24-14.
Grump.
Also, interim head coach game. I don't care. It's not the head coach, still counts.
Interim defensive coordinator, Grump.
I'm gonna call this an interim head coach game because he's playing with his quarterback, I think, this week for the first time. So I think the Giants are gonna win this game. I think it's gonna be one of the games that we'll remember, that will keep us hopeful and excited for next year, whether Mike Kafka's here or not, which he won't be. I think the Giants are going to win this one 30-27. I think it's going to be a really exciting game. I think the defense is going to step up in the pass rush. It's just whether or not they can actually stop the run this week. So, and I think Jaxson Dart is exciting in prime time, and that continues.
For some reason, I think a lot of people think the Giants are going to win this week, whether it's Jaxson Dart returning, as how they've looked, the interim defensive coordinator the fact that the Patriots are banged up, the fact that it's prime time. But I will always get a little bit of a confidence boost when the Giants are in those white jerseys with some red stripes on them with their blue helmet going against the New England Patriots. It brings back good memories. No matter what the New York Giants are, this game always brings back good memories. I hope to say this in the Super Bowl preview one day. Giants 77, Patriots 0. We'll see you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Until then, let's go Big Blue.